was a kid, there was nothing better than watching my Saturday morning tunes. That's where I learned all my badass karate moves. Yeah!
The 80s and 90s certainly gave us some memorable characters and epic playground rivalries.
Like Leonardo, head honcho of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And Jason Lee Scott, leader of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. For this bout, we'll be sticking to the characters themselves.
That means no Dragon Zords, no Turtle Mechs, and no last-minute power of friendship. Just a good old-fashioned one-on-one. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. From the vastness of space to the eerie depths of the ocean, few places remain as mysterious and unknown as the New York City sewer system.
Anything could be down there. Killer alligators, mole people, or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Cowabunga!
4 ordinary domestic terrapins transformed into humanoid superheroes by a chance encounter with a canister of mysterious mutagenic ooze. They were adopted by an equally mutated rat skilled in martial arts who decided to name them after Renaissance artists.
You know, even by comic book standards, this origin story is pretty freaking weird.
Master Splinter trained them as ninja, and the group formed a daring crime-fighting team. But every team needs a leader.
Donatello did machines, but tactics? Nah. Raphael was tough, but way too hot-headed. And Michelangelo? Well, we all know he got dropped as a kid. So the obvious choice was the true blue Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, close enough. Of all the turtles, Leonardo was the most studious and focused when it came to Splinter's lessons, and soon adopted the principles of Bushido.
Kind of weird since that's a samurai code and he's a ninja, but whatever.
The modern tenets of Bushido have evolved over the centuries, but it essentially boils down to 8 virtues: righteousness, courage, compassion, respect, honesty, honor, duty, and self-control. All of which frankly describes Leonardo to a T.
AKA, he's super dedicated to being a goody two-shoes. And he's a badass when it comes to fighting. He's like the Bruce Lee of reptiles. And since he's a turtle, Leo's got super speed and super strength.
I'm not sure the science checks out on that one.
He's also got that super tough shell and some radical ninja weapons.
Right, but before we go any further, we should address that there are multiple iterations of Leonardo across different media and timelines. As none of them can really be considered the main one, we're taking all standard versions into account, or anything that's reasonable, consistent, or viable across his multiple histories.
So we're not including anything that's too out of the ordinary, like those weird double mutations or that time he became a goddamn dragon. I mean, good on you, Leo, but that's a little out of your typical wheelhouse.
Leonardo is a master of Niten Ichi-Ryu, a Japanese fighting style using twin katana. Although Leo's swords are typically a more recent variant called ninjaken, basically just katana without the curve.
Still way better than wielding tiny forks or a literal stick. Seriously, who picked out the other turtle's weapons?
Leonardo's ninjaken are incredibly deadly, even sharp enough to slice through metal.
But he still finds ways to break those things all the time. Good thing he's also got kunais, smoke bombs, shuriken, climbing claws, grappling guns, hell, most of the Batman-approved gear. In his latest outing, he's even got this Odachi, basically the claymore of ninja swords, but it's super special.
Right, with a swing of the blade, it can open portals that can take its wielder anywhere from across the room or all the way to Tahiti.
Time for a vacation! Yeah!
Oh, be careful! I think the rules of space could be catastrophic.
Yeah, relax, Wiz. I totally have what it takes to pull this off. Okay, maybe I'll go with the staycation instead.
Probably for the best. Weapons aside, Leonardo has proved skilled enough to master rare ninjutsu knowledge such as the Healing Hands Mantra, a meditation technique.
Say goodbye to that nasty migraine or pesky stab wound.
Not quite potent enough to heal fatal wounds, but useful nonetheless.
Other than that, the dude's fast enough to outrun explosions and has even dodged lightning.
This enemy in particular was specifically granted the power of a storm, implying these bolts are comparable to natural lightning. Therefore, Leonardo must be able to react to things 280 times faster than sound.
Ha! And you thought turtles were slow. Also, he's strong enough to push over a giant pillar to crush a cockroach monster, go toe-to-toe with Baron Drexum, who survived this explosion, and held open the jaws of a monster-fied T-Rex.
The Tyrannosaurus is theorized to have had a bite force of 12,800 pounds per square inch, 6 times more powerful than an alligator.
And best of all, even across multiple timelines, good old Leo is usually the one to take down the turtle's biggest villain and least useful kitchen utensil, the Shredder. No wonder he's the leader. Leo's a boss.
Sure, he may have a habit of questioning his own abilities and decisions, but hey, he's a teenager. Par for the course.
One thing's for sure, he's a mean, green fighting machine who's always up for a shell of a good time.
Tastes cold steel!
After 10,000 years, the evil interstellar witch Rita Repulsa was finally released from her long-standing prison.
Which, and I need to point this out, was an actual space dumpster. Gross! No wonder she was so pissed off that she decided to attack Earth on the spot.
To combat her vile magics, the good-natured sage in a tube Zordon sought out a team of heroes, and for whatever reason, specifically requested 5 overbearing and over-emotional humans.
No, not that, not teenagers.
I feel ya, Invader Zim.
The 5 teens connected to the Morphin Grid, an energy field that transformed them into the mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Go, go, Power Rangers! I never get tired of doing that. And if that wasn't cool enough, each ranger was bonded to a giant robot dinosaur. There was the blue Triceratops, the yellow saber-toothed tiger, the black mastodon, the pink pterodactyl, and finally, the red Tyrannosaurus.
This would go to the Red Ranger and leader of the team, Jason Lee Scott.
Jason was a pretty chill and level-headed guy, and already good enough at martial arts to be teaching classes.
He's skilled in Kenpo, Taekwondo, Judo, and notably the more unknown Shinkido, a mix of karate and Japanese sword fighting.
And he dabbled in hip-hop keto. But to get all the martial arts skill he'd ever need, all he's gotta do is hold out that mighty power coin and yell,
Morphin' time! Tyrannosaurus!
"Oh, yeah. Chills, man. Every time."
Morphing into his Red Ranger form did indeed grant Jason an unprecedented level of martial arts mastery. Even Billy, the Blue Ranger, who barely knew any martial arts at all, became a fist-fighting master after morphing.
The Red Ranger form also boosts Jason's speed and strength to superhuman levels. And see those sparks? That's the Morphin Grid taking hits for him. And it'll keep doing that until it's overloaded from too many attacks. Good guy Grid over here. Where do I get one?
Jason is a powerhouse, focusing on strong, high-impact moves like his Power Punch to send foes flying across the battlefield.
And he can use the energy of the grid to take a bite out of Putty with his Tyrannosaurus Charge. But when punches and kicks aren't enough, he's got a bunch of colorful weapons that definitely aren't toys, no matter how plasticky they look.
Like his wrist communicator, which doubles as a teleporter.
And the Blade Blaster is both a knife and a gun. A gun knife. A knife.
And for tougher fights, he can...
Alright, Wiz, what's the over-under on my modification here working?
Are you sure about this? We already have enough holes in the floor.
Oh, please, Wiz, I know what I... I'm okay! I'm not okay!
For tougher fights, Jason can also summon the Power Sword, a unique blade that can slice through even the most powerful of monsters. It's also a key component to the Power Blaster.
Which is, let me guess here, powerful.
Yes. The Power Blaster can destroy creatures even the Dinozords have trouble with.
Though Power Ranger rules keep them from busting out the big guns right away.
Right, they technically cannot escalate a fight, so unless the more powerful weapons are deemed necessary, they're generally considered off limits.
So dumb.
Regardless, the Red Ranger is incredibly impressive even without his weapons.
He's strong enough to lift boulders way bigger than him.
Scaling this boulder to Jason's own height, we can estimate it weighs a little over 69 tons.
Nice.
And the Yellow Ranger, who has the same basic powers as Jason, pushed around a much larger boulder that, when using the same scaling method, appears to weigh over 11,000 tons.
These two can run so fast they kick up huge clouds of dust behind them. And in a later series, Power Rangers in Space! The Rangers could keep pace with the supercar Storm Blaster.
Technically, every Ranger draws from the same source of power, the Morphin Grid, so it's fair to at least compare Jason to other Ranger teams. Like when the SPD Green Ranger chucked a car through the air.
Red is quick enough to dodge lightning, at least for a bit, and tough enough to survive the Power Ranger Command Center exploding while he was inside. That's not even the first time the place blew up. Man, that building's seriously been through the ringer.
To be fair, it's important to remember that the Ranger powers are not permanent, and his connection to the Morphin Grid has limits. If he takes enough damage and loses his morph, Jason goes back to being a normal human being, albeit one who is a talented fighter in his own right.
But with the glorious red spandex and Robo T-Rex at his back, the power lies on his side.
You wanna fight? You got it!
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Dude!
Sorry, I'm late for... Wanna free these monsters!
Who? Give me a break! You're the monster for ruining my pizza! Time to take out the trash!
It's morphin' time! Don't count me out yet!
That's turtle power!
Power sword! Don't blame me for not being impressed!
Really, dude? Huh? Bodacious!
Cheap shot!
Rin Pyo Tosha Kai Jin Retsu Saisen.
Yo! What are you doing down there?
Sorry, tights. I'm all healed up. Behold the immortal turtle!
That's bogus!
I love being a turtle!
That was bonkers.
KO!
Looks like Leo totally didn't see that coming.
Are you gonna keep reusing that one, or should I expect something new?
Oh, I'm sorry, do you want me to shell out some more puns?
Fine, fine. Leonardo certainly had more martial arts experience than Jason, and he was likely a bit faster, as we've seen him dodge lightning more reliably. If it were just up to those two factors, the Ninja Turtle may have won.
But you know there's more to it. Sure, Leo had some super tough defense on his side, but Jason had the oomph to crack that shell.
First of all, Leonardo's superior training was a moot point, as Jason's morph granted him a broad mastery of martial arts talent automatically.
Kinda cheap if you ask me, but that's Power Rangers for you.
But let's talk numbers. Giving Leonardo the benefit of the doubt, we scaled his level of toughness to his recurring villain Baron Draxum.
Who's fought Leo a bunch of times? Remember how Draxum survived his lab exploding? That's definitely the best durability feat Leo could possibly match.
By scaling the lab to the height of the characters, then deducing the size of the explosion itself, its explosive yield must equal about 12 tons of TNT.
Pretty impressive. But then we used the same method on the control center exploding while Jason was inside, and it came out to 550 tons of TNT.
45 times greater than Leonardo.
So clearly Jason was much tougher, but we still had to find their overall strength. To do that, we compared Leo's bug-crushing pillar to the Ranger's bowling with boulders.
Using granite as an average potential density and scaling the pillar to Leonardo's height, it appears to weigh about 240 metric tons.
Still impressive, but way less than the 11,000-ton boulder. The Red Ranger couldn't just crack that shell, he could make turtle soup out of it.
Leonardo held some advantages in speed and skill, making this fight far from one-sided. However, Jason's superior strength, arsenal, and powers quickly turned the tide.
His Ranger of abilities does what Leonardo don't.
The winner is Jason, the Red Ranger.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Death Battle. If you want the battle music for yourself, you can get it by clicking the link down below.
And if you want to watch more stuff, check the boxes right over there.
This is